Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at XRP, see what's going on. This coin is belly flopping, but we need to understand that all coins are doing that right now. So this is nothing super special. So in that light, what we want to do is look at some macro supports and or resistances to just kind of see roughly where we're at in this overall scenario here. So we are getting closer, as I mentioned yesterday, to that $2 mark, that macro support. That's a good solid support range for us. So we should expect somewhat of a recovery here soon, but I do want to give some quick congrats to our committee here for some nice profits. We hit all targets achieved, only 35% on a 5x leverage short for XRP, and also 40% for our Bitcoin short as well, currently open in profit. So again, a lot of good stuff here going on in to the downside, but not great from an overall sentiment of like, just buying the dip or taking a long here with leverage. Not a good recommendation at all. The general consensus is that no trade is a good trade. I'm saying that mostly today here, just to be responsible and to make sure that everyone understands that you kind of got to take a step back sometimes when you trade and not trade garbage, okay? And I'm mostly referring to the fact that most people are more inclined to want to take longs versus shorts. Not to say there's not plenty of profits, as you can see already, for shorting these coins, but for the most part, it's just generally safer to avoid trading because most people do prefer to take longs. So that's kind of the consensus there. Either way, we look at liquidation. Majority of liquidation has been swept. There's just very little bit, some sparse liquidation levels down as low as $2. So from a liquidation standpoint, there's not like a lot of incentive for the price to drive further down. We can see liquidation delta is at 1.6 billion. That's quite a lot for this coin. Probably the most you typically see in any given direction. So this just kind of implies that you shouldn't be trading this coin. I would say hypothetically taking a long right now, just in spite of all the shorting, almost makes sense, because when you have this overextension of liquidation delta to either direction, it typically will reverse itself if it gets too high for too long. And we are seeing 1+ billion in liquidation delta to the downside for the last 24, 48 hours. We're reaching our tentative bottom, I would say. Now that's just shooting from the hip here. Let's double check the charts to see what's going on. You generally don't want to try to just buy any dip that occurs. And once more, Bitcoin came as low as 81.5. Jeez. Okay, so it pulled down to 81.5, and XRP came down as low as roughly 206. So 206 is our local bottom here, or at least our most recent bottom. As far as overall bottoms here are concerned, let's look at the daily time frame and just kind of clarify a couple things. So when we look at candle wicks here, to the downside, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attempts to close below 201, or just say $2 even, and that has never happened yet. Okay, not to say it can't and it won't. It's just that this is a pretty solid support level. $2 is that psychological support. Everyone seems to want to buy when the price comes to that level, and inevitably we do not close below it. So that's a good sign. Hypothetically, $2 is a great entry at this point. But when we look at the macro though, we're below the SMA, under 50 in the RSI, stochastic swinging down, MACD diverging. There's nothing here at all that says, hey, you should take a long. This is a good idea. It's always a bad idea. But that's all the more reason why the market makers are rich and we're probably not. Okay, and the main reason why is because they drive the price action down so far that everyone flips short and everyone sells. This is when they're buying, is exactly right now. So I would say just in general, from a spot back perspective, wouldn't be a bad consideration to add to your position. From a liquidation standpoint, not necessarily a good call for leverage rather. Because you could be liquidated. If you use low leverage and have a stop loss somewhere well under $2, that may be a decent consideration. Okay. Now, again, usually when you see the RSIs, the money flow index so low at this point, it's due for a reversal. So we're probably going to see a bit of a relief rally here. If so, it should come up to our local low, which is somewhere in the range of about 222 to 228. So I'll just kind of extend this out. I'll clean up the charts here, folks, and I'll post that on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. If you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this, where I just kind of give you insight on coins that I'm covering, right? It's all detailed there for you. But for the most part here, there's nothing that you really want to take a trade with here, okay? So outside of that, not much else to really report. Everything else is fully bearish, and generally, the general consensus here is that market makers are really good at getting people to think it's going to go to the ground floor. Like right now, for example, they want you to start shorting and they want you to sell as much as you can, because then they can just buy. So I would say, take the power back here in a sense. Don't get too crazy with your shorts. I recommend not shorting the bottom here. And if you're going to take some longs, just make sure they're low leverage, low position size, so you don't get absolutely smashed or destroyed if the price doesn't go back up. Okay, that's all there is to it. Just trade responsibly, and the best traders, honestly, like myself, I'm not trading at all today. That's it. It's tempting to want to buy some of these dips. I get it. And spot bag's a different story. I have some limit orders set myself, but that is completely different than leverage. Use leverage responsibly, folks. Okay, cool. Make sure if you are using leverage, use the best exchange possible. We have an awesome partnership here with Bitunix. Phenomenal exchange, no KYC or VPN required. Use my link to register. You get some nice bonuses there. This is primarily for our current community members, so make sure you take advantage of this. But it's all available there for you if you're curious. So check that out. All right, folks. I thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have yourself a great one. And be safe out there. Take care.